Wendy, you are the VP of Biotech at Corteva, and Corteva, of course, being one of the main players at the forefront of innovation of many kinds, including gene editing. So I want to talk to you on lots of what's coming ahead, what we've got for trends. We want to talk about consumer acceptance of biotech in general. But can we start first with how are you seeing gene editing's role in agriculture today?
Yeah, so I think when you look back at the history of crop domestication of 10,000 years of humanity, developing the food crops that we eat, there's these milestones of technology that have just changed course. So if you look back, a lot of times early on, it was just selection based on what humans liked. Then we got into more breeding, actually creating and selecting based on characteristics. Then we were able to start seeing insight into the genome and really understand what's behind what we're actually selecting for and doing. But there was this missing piece always. And this missing piece was the ability, instead of just to recombine the genome every generation of breeding and run it through a filter and select for it, to actually take what was already good, just make a little tiny change. That was not possible. The only way we could do it is take the gene from something else. But sometimes the gene is already there. It just needs to be tweaked a little bit. Gene editing gives us that ability now to keep everything that is really excellent, everything that we've worked for, in some cases, centuries on improving and changing just one little characteristic to open up a new opportunity or new value in that product.
Excellent summary. So tell me what's ahead. If we're looking 5-10 years down the road, what are the emerging trends in biotech?
Yeah, so I think, gene editing is relatively new when you come with a technology. Back in 2012 was really the first discoveries of how this technology could be used to modify, to change, make very precise changes in the genomes of living things. So the technology has advanced a lot in that 12 or so years since that time in the application. So you're already seeing gene editing widely used in pharmaceutical. One of the first really game-changing applications is in the treatment of sickle cell anemia as a genetic treatment, and great potential for an otherwise untreatable disease for the most part. There's that many applications also in agriculture. Everything we're working with in agriculture is generally living organisms, seeds, plants, microbes. So looking at how we take that technology, which can be used really for any living organism that has DNA, and is a new tool in that toolkit. So I think what you're seeing right now is an explosion of innovation, both in terms of how that could potentially being used to build new types of products and new solutions for existing problems, but also the tools themselves. Early on, it was CRISPR-Cas9. Now we have many, many generations of new tools that are more specific, more precise, more versatile in the types of edits that they're able to do. And so you're seeing a lot of movement, both in companies, large and small, in also public institutions, starting to really go down product focus, application focus, or toolkit. And this ecosystem is really emerging around gene editing, which I think will be transformational. One of these milestones in the plant breeding that we've seen over the centuries that we've been working in crop improvement as humans.
So exciting days ahead.
Yes, definitely.
And exciting for you to be at the forefront of it in your role.
Yes. Rarely do you get these chances to see maybe two technology step changes in one career. And I feel privileged to be at that place. At the beginning of my career, in the early 2000s, it was really around GMOs and the potential to use GMOs to solve many, many new problems in the world. We're 30 years into that journey now. And so very mature technology. And now with gene editing, having the ability to see another step change yet in my career of what a technology is going to unlock for agriculture, it's truly rewarding, exciting, and very fun to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. So, Wendy, talk to me about what are some of the ways that the seed industry can support acceptance of this kind of technology?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think the first thing I'd ask everyone is take the time to understand what it is and what it isn't. It's not GMO. So be really clear about why it isn't GMO and that it is much more similar to traditional breeding, and the kinds of solutions that we're developing are just accelerated versions of what we would get with traditional breeding. So fundamentally understand what the technology can bring. And then also, I think, answer the questions that people have honestly with showing the benefits of the technology. There's so many exciting stories to talk about. So when you're confronted with somebody who really doesn't know, a lot of times they're just trying to learn. They don't have an agenda. So understand the technology so you can explain it, and then start talking about some of the exciting benefits that this will unlock for agriculture.
You've used the word a couple of times, ecosystem.
Yes.
And I want to come back to ecosystem because it speaks to collaboration. It speaks to something bigger than an individual piece of technology. And how is Corteva building around ecosystem?
Earlier this year, we announced our genetics ecosystem, and that really is sort of a wrapper around all of the gene editing work we are doing in this ecosystem. It includes the tools that we need to continue to evolve and develop so that we can be more proficient and more precise in gene editing. It includes partnerships with public and private organizations on enabling them to come out with products that they might be interested in. It also includes many different partners that we're looking at in the future for either the tools or the products, or even issues or questions around how this technology can be positioned or brought to consumers. What are the benefits? What do regulators want to know about this technology? So it's really kind of a wrapper around a lot of the gene editing ecosystem that we're playing in, and that intersecting with other ecosystem components from other players.
Okay, and when we talk ecosystem, and you've also mentioned several times in conversation of partners and collaboration, one of the big ones that you're working with is Pairwise.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that collaboration and what's ahead on that front?
Yeah, so we just formed this collaboration, and it was announced back in September. So relatively new days. We're a couple months into this right now. And really the collaboration is matching two world leaders in gene editing. Pairwise, very powerful toolkit that they can use for their own internal pipeline, as well as making that available to other players for some of the applications for gene editing. And then also their capability and their capacity for really working on novel traits, novel technologies. So we are working with them in row crops, primarily in corn. For Corteva, our interest obviously is in corn, looking at targets in yield, agronomic performance, disease, and then also continuing to evolve this toolkit. Pairwise also needs an improved toolkit, and really kind of that partnership of taking an innovation that we create together and scaling it, bringing it through a testing infrastructure, and being able to bring it out to a grower into the marketplace. So really excellent complementarity. Again, the teams started working together back in September. Tremendous momentum, almost really needing to slow that down. Let's think, because so much excitement from both sides on how this collaboration is unfolding.
Excellent. Now, in terms of excitement,
Yes.
take a 10,000 foot view. What are you most excited on the work that you're involved in?
Most excited near term, I think, is to see these products coming into the marketplace. We're already seeing lots of fruit and vegetable concepts coming to the marketplace already, and consumers trying to understand and see the benefit. For our business, it's really around immediate grower problems, disease. Our first product for disease, multi-disease resistance, will come out later this decade. So a few years from now, growers are going to get a chance to experience this. Long term, though, I think where the real opportunity for this technology is increasing yield, traditional breeding paired with gene editing, to increase yield is going to make much more sustainable production on the acres we have, which is a great place to be.
Huge impact for farming and the economy. It's a good news story. Wendy, I know you are in high demand. I know that you've got a packed meeting schedule. I enormously appreciate you making time.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.